Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice has been in print for over 200 years. All 6 of her novels are classics, but it's Pride and Prejudice that has always been the most popular with her global fan base. In 2013, the Bank of England announced that Austen would be the new face of their £10 note, replacing Charles Darwin. Her work is perpetually adapted and reinterpreted. There's even a recent parody featuring cast members of Game of Thrones called Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. And now, for the first time, Pride and Prejudice has been transformed into a full-length dance by American Repertory Ballet. Artistic director and veteran dancer Douglas Martin spent 5 years doing research and translating the iconic words of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice into the language of dance.
It's not a mystery to our species. Everyone dances all day long, and most people just don't realize it. When I translate words into ballet, what I'm translating is the visual relationship between 2 people or 7 people or whatever it is, the emotions that those people are having between themselves, and that's all expressed through their body language.
He knows the novel backwards and forwards and inside out, and I think that if any lover of Pride and Prejudice goes to see the ballet, they will be very pleased that someone with a lot of knowledge of Austen has undertaken this translation.
About a week before the premiere at McCarter Theater in Princeton, leading Jane Austen scholar Claudia Johnson visited the studio to immerse herself in Martin's choreography and give feedback.
I love having her here because she said to me, I'm so intrigued to see how you're going to say all these beautiful words, and she loved it. So it's fun to open up that window to someone who's so tied to the words.
Dancing is so much a part of the daily social life of people in Jane Austen's time, and there is just already so much dance in this story. It is often described as a love story, but it's a love story of a very unusual kind because the main characters, Darcy and Elizabeth, actually hate each other when they first meet. It's not love at first sight. In fact, it's just the opposite.
You work on it for so long. You research, you think about it, that you get a total different point of view of what you thought it was before. So I think the fact that we're in the studio constantly, we're listening to this music that makes you think about a scene, and you have to research your character. So you just get into what it is for real. It's not just, oh, I read it, I watched a movie. No, we went for it.
It's about relationships and about emotions, and all of this supported by the score, predominantly of music by Ignaz Pleyel, who was a favorite composer of Jane Austen. And this is music that we don't get to hear very much, certainly in the concert hall. So it's a very challenging score for the orchestra, by no means boring for them to imagine that they're sitting in the pit and just accompanying. They are really playing an interesting score and feeding off the sense and experience of dancers being dependent on them.
Overall, the feeling of dancing to live music is so much more fulfilling than just dancing to a recording. You can really feel all those different forms of art coming together, and it's really something great.
It becomes this personal experience between the musician and the dancer, and then musician, dancer, and audience, and how the audience sitting there is not only getting to see a ballet, but they're also getting to hear a symphony.
With a ballet with an orchestra in the pit, the musicians and dancers can't see each other. And that's where the conductor comes in literally as a conduit for expression. And so it's this amazing, unseen relationship where it's built on trust and the knowledge of another artist being dependent on what you're doing. And I think that that's a very special thing that the audience for sure senses, and that's why we should have live music with dance.
Jane Austen is one of the greatest novelists in the English language, not only because she really furthered the technique of the novel, but also because she took as her subject matter ordinary life. You didn't have to be a pirate or a prince or an adventurer to be the subject of a novel. Ordinary life was sufficient for an adventure that a novel could narrate. Anybody, any man or any woman, could be the subject of a fabulous novel in her hands.
The New Jersey State Council on the Arts, encouraging excellence and public engagement in the arts since 1966, is proud to co-produce State of the Arts with Stockton University, New Jersey's distinctive public university.